Thanks for tuning in to Unbreakable with Chris Chamasairos. I talk about politics, sports, and entertainment to keep you well-rounded what's going on around the world. If you don't like hearing the truth, definitely don't tune into this channel. So let's get started today. So Candace Owens is getting blamed for the Republican Party, the MAGA Party, splitting into pieces, and it's just complete bullshit. That's what it is. So Tim Pool and a lot of so-called conservatives are blaming Candace for all of it. Meanwhile, they should be blaming President Trump for not keeping his promises. Let's get to that, back to that in a moment. There was a politician named Howard Dean who he ruined his own career by letting out a certain how. I'm going to play the video for you. This totally destroyed Howard Dean's career. Just watch this.
You know something? You know something? If you had told us 1 year ago that we were going to come in third in Iowa, we would have given anything for that. And you know something? You know something? Not only are we going to New Hampshire, Tom Harkin, we're going to South Carolina and Oklahoma and Arizona and North Dakota and New Mexico. And we're going to California and Texas and New York. And we're going to South Dakota and Oregon and Washington and Michigan. And then we're going to Washington, D.C. to take back the White House. Ah!
Oh, what a jerk off. How do these jerk offs get in control of our country? How could anybody clap for this fucking idiot? It's just, isn't it just laughable who leads us in America? You see, President Trump, he said one line that destroyed his entire career. President Trump's whole career as a politician was destroyed with one line. Let's jump into that line. Now, I know Howard Dean never became the president, but you see where I'm going. This is what destroyed President Trump's entire legacy. Let's play the clip.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. It just seems like a desecration.
Do you see everybody's face in the room? They knew he messed up right there. And don't worry, it only gets better. See, then Charlie Kirk gets assassinated. And on the White House lawn, they asked President Trump about Charlie Kirk's assassination. One of the main reasons why President Trump got elected was because of Charlie Kirk's support. And how does President Trump answer the question? Let's jump into that video. Let's look at President Trump's reaction to Charlie Kirk being assassinated. Charlie Kirk loved President Trump. And he was also one of the main reasons why President Trump won the election. Let's watch this video.
How are you holding up over the last 3.5 years? I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks. They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty. It'll be an absolutely magnificent structure. And I just see all the trucks. We just started, so it'll get done very nicely, and it'll be one of the best anywhere in the world, actually.
See, and don't watch the Fox News one because his inner circle told him how bad this looked. So President Trump went on Fox News and he rearranged the story. This is his initial reaction to being asked about Charlie Kirk's assassination. So how are you holding up about Charlie Kirk's assassination? Oh, pretty good. Hey, by the way, did you check out the new ballroom that we built? And you don't think that these statements, first about the Epstein files, then about the Charlie Kirk assassination, then 2 weeks ago, President Trump on TV saying Americans are not smart enough for certain jobs and we have to bring in all these foreigners to take the jobs. You don't think that these three statements have destroyed President Trump's legacy and presidency? Of course they have. But who is everybody blaming? Who's Tim Pool blaming? Who's Adam Sosnick blaming on the Patrick Bet-David podcast? Who are all the so-called conservative influencers blaming? They're blaming Candace Owens. You know why? Because she's onto something. Charlie Kirk was not assassinated with a 30-06 rifle. That's impossible. You know, excuse me, but if he was hit with that type of weapon, his head would have been rolling on the floor. Mikey McCoy and his father want to put out the narrative that Charlie Kirk was the man of steel. And even in death, he saved people because he was made out of steel. from eating his spinach. It's just total garbage. Let's not forget, they wiped away a crime scene. They they bulldozed the crime scene. Cash Patel's on TV today saying that the investigation is not over into Charlie Kirk's murder. Then why was a crime scene bulldozed over? Why was the Dairy Queen that Tyler Robinson in bulldozed over also? Seems to me the people that assassinated Charlie Kirk, they didn't want to leave any evidence behind. They didn't want to leave any fingerprints behind. They want you to believe that this grainy photo that they say that's Tyler Robinson, that wasn't Tyler Robinson. And we all know it. And Charlie Kirk's assassination stinks to high hell. And for that to happen on American soil, guess what? Our CIA, our government allowed it to happen, regardless of who did it. Do I think multiple countries were involved in Charlie Kirk's assassination? Yes, absolutely. Let's not forget, shortly before Charlie Kirk died, he went on the Patrick Bet-David show and he said, I have to be careful how I say this. I was in Gaza, and I don't believe for a minute that Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israeli government didn't know that attack was going to happen. And why did it take them so long to respond to this attack? That he believed that Benjamin Netanyahu gave a stand down order. And that's when Charlie Kirk was summoned to talk with Bill Ackman, and his Israeli donors were calling him anti Semitic and were putting pressure on him because he was starting to change his views on Israel after all the money Charlie Kirk took from his big Israeli donors. And then Charlie Kirk ends up dead, assassinated. And the United States government and Cash Patel and Tim Pool and Adam Sosnick and Patrick Bet-David and all these so-called conservative influencers want you to turn the page. The investigation's over. They got their man in Tyler Robinson. Oh, because the government here doesn't ever use MK Ultra either, right? So who is everybody blaming right now? Whose fault is it that MAGA is destroyed? Who are they all blaming? They're blaming Candace Owens because she's trying to get to the bottom of who murdered her friend. It's absolutely effing pathetic. No, you should be blaming President Trump. You should be blaming President Trump for putting Israel first. Everybody knows that Benjamin Netanyahu controls President Trump. Everybody knows that President Trump gives Israel $45 million a day and will continue to do so. Everyone knows that Israel gets free health care on American taxpayers' dime. Everyone knows that Israel keeps dragging us into endless wars. And the American population is sick of it. And it just seems like from the minute that President Trump said, you're still talking about the Epstein files, and then Charlie Kirk was assassinated, this whole thing just avalanched into a snowball where the entire Republican Party is now infighting. And you know why they're infighting? You know why MAGA is destroyed? You know who destroyed MAGA? President Trump destroyed MAGA. President Trump is destroying the Republican Party with his antics, with his weird responses, covering up the Epstein files, covering up who was on the island. Remember, there was underage girls on an island being sexually assaulted. And President Trump and our government doesn't want you to know about it. And he doesn't think there's any repercussions to this. Then his weird response to Charlie Kirk being assassinated. Then getting on national TV and saying that Americans, there's no talent here. We need to import hundreds of thousands of foreigners after he ran on mass deportations. But who's everybody blaming? Oh, it's Candace Owens. Tim Pool calling Candace Owens all types of names. I'm going to play that video in a minute. I know if I'm George Farmer, I invite Tim Pool over to have a talk, and then I politely tell him, hey, let's have a boxing match. Me and you need to have a word outside for talking about my wife like that. I'd love to hear Candace Owens' husband have a statement about how they're treating his wife. Let's listen to the idiot. Hey, Tim, the only scumbag piece of you know what is you. You get big checks from Israel. You even admitted you get big paydays from Israel. I wonder why you're so hard pressed to try to tear Candace down and make it look like she's a complete lunatic. And you know why? They probably got something on you, and they're probably telling you, take her down somehow. or we're going to release this information on you. Because all of a sudden now Tim Pool's show is getting closed down and he claims that it was because of a, you know what? I don't believe that at all. I believe he's closing shop down because the people he takes checks from are mad about something and he can't get people to stop listening to Candace and something's going on, but I don't buy it at all. Not buying it. But I know one thing. You're not going to tell me Candace Owens is responsible for destroying MAGA or the Republican Party because that's total bullshit. Let's watch little Timmy here. Little corrupt Timmy. He's mad because he's getting big checks from Benjamin Netanyahu and Israeli donors, and he can't control Candace Owens or the narrative. So let's hear what this dirtbag has to say.
Candace Owens is a fucking evil scumbag. She is a degenerate. She is burning everything down, and she's gloating and smiling while she does it. And you know what you fucking told me? She has no security. She doesn't fucking deal with the shit we have to deal with. She's a piece of shit. She's making everyone else suffer. And all of these fucking conservatives out there that send me these fucking messages have no fucking balls to call her out. More and more people have started doing it. They send me these fucking messages. Good for you, Tim. Good for you, Tim. I wasn't the first person to do it. I'm not going to take credit for that. But don't fucking DM me like I did something for you as you cower, scared that she'll put you on her thumbnail and claim you benefited from Charlie Kirk's assassination, which she's doing to me right fucking now.
Yeah, that was the...
I'm fucking done with these people.
She has security, just not on the level of you.
Oh, yeah, the one fat guy you mentioned with no wall and no barrier in a suburban neighborhood with neighbors. Shouldn't give two fucking... No one's out for her. She's lying about all of this. You told me you went to her house and she's got a 4-foot wall and one fat guy, and she doesn't give a about her security. Meanwhile, I get bullets fired at my property, and I have to go live in the middle of nowhere. And I got strangers coming up to my house in Maryland, breaking in. I got people showing up and beating up the residents who trying to live there. How the am I even supposed to sell this property? It's all lies. It's all hypocrisy, and it is for the purpose of making money. And she does not live the way other people live. And she claims she liked Charlie, she loved Charlie, and she is burning everything down that he built because she is evil. She is evil. And I'll say it again: this conservative movement is fractured, it's fried, whatever it is. Okay, Republicans are on track to lose the midterms. They were actually trending in the other direction until Charlie Kirk was murdered. Yeah. And this is the point.
Okay, pause it. No.
Oh, little Timmy, that big emotional outburst seems pretty staged to me, but hey. And the only person that you have to blame for destroying MAGA is President Trump. And it's for a simple, he didn't keep any of his promises. All President Trump had to do was keep his campaign promises. And guess what? As much as I don't like J.D. Vance, as much as I don't like any of the other Republicans that are going to run for president in 2028 because they're all bought and paid for, just think right now if President Trump was keeping his promises, ending the wars, putting Americans first, lowering our taxes, lowering our prices, everything, it would be a clean handoff in the next election. But instead, it's not. And President Trump has nobody to blame but himself and his big mouth. Little Timmy, the only piece of garbage, Tim, is you. So how much did Israel pay you for this outburst, Timmy? I could only imagine because there was some real extra mustard right here. Clown. Nothing but a clown. But let's blame Candace. Candace Owens has absolutely nothing to do with President Trump's approval rating in the toilet. Let's watch the lying weasel, Sosnick, Adam Sosnick from the Patrick Bet-David show. The only reason why Adam Sosnick is mad about what Candace Owens is saying is because it's against Israel. That's why. The only thing that Adam Sosnick cares about, he doesn't care about America. He doesn't care about friends. The only thing he does care about is Israel. So let's let Adam, this is such a pathetic attempt by, nothing surprises me with Sosnick. And this is why the Patrick Bet-David show is losing all credibility because of an idiot like Sosnick. And I'll keep saying it. I really believe that Adam Sosnick brings PBD checks because how could you let an idiot like this keep destroying your audience? You know how many people don't tune into the Patrick Bet-David show anymore because of Adam Sosnick? And it's pretty soon, every dog has their day, and PBD wants to keep going down this road with this clown talking, and his podcast will eventually fall off too, just like the rest of the corporate media. Just like Piers Morgan, just like Megyn Kelly, just like Fox News and the rest of them. You're not going to be immune to this PBD with an idiot like this talking on your show.
I don't know if you noticed over the last couple days, Candace, former friend, I'd say, has not exactly been gratuitous. She put me on the cover of a thumbnail. I don't care. I can take the heat.
Yeah, sure.
My biggest question comes down to one word: friendship. Is this really what friends do when someone gets?
Yeah, Adam. Real friends, when you get assassinated in front of your children, they don't let it go. They try to get to the bottom of it. But this idiot, who also claimed that anybody that cared about the Epstein files was a fat loser who lived in his mom's basement drinking Mountain Dew. And you know why he says all these things? Because it sheds light on Benjamin Netanyahu and Israel and what's really going on. And that's all Adam Sosnick cares about is Israel. He doesn't have any real friends. You think he cares about America? Give me a break.
Murdered? Is this what your friend does? Because with friends like these, who needs enemies? So a friend, you would support the grieving wife, not question her, okay? You would help build the company that you helped create, not try to destroy it. And the worst thing of all, you're trying to dismantle Charlie's legacy when you should be trying to defend it. If Charlie is looking down from heaven, and if there's an angel out there, it could be Saint Charlie. What do you think he would be saying at Candace at this point? Thank you, Candace. Thank you for questioning my life, my wife, and my legacy. Thank you so much, great friend. I don't know if you know.
Isn't he such a weasel? Isn't he so pathetic? I don't know how anybody could criticize Candace for overturning every stone, trying to get to the bottom of who assassinated her friend. And this is what this weasel turns it into. Like he tries to play on all your emotions, all because it makes Israel look bad. Sosnick is the ultimate scumbag, and he should leave Candace Owens' name out of his mouth because he's just a piece of garbage. And don't worry, PBD, you think your podcast, you just think that you could never possibly lose all your subscribers or your show, and people are just going to keep watching your podcast with garbage human beings like this. That's what Ben Shapiro thought. That's what Piers Morgan thought. That's what all corporate media thought. So you're not going to be immune to losing all your subscribers and viewers and money with idiots like Adam Sosnick talking on your show who are lying through their teeth, because that's exactly what Adam is doing right here. And I don't expect anything else from the garbage human being, Adam Sosnick. And with that being said, thanks for tuning in to Unbreakable with Chris Chamasairos.